There's a couple things that you should know about VA disability back pay. And the first thing is how it's going to be deposited in your bank account. It could show up like this, where it's just a lump sum, or it could show up in a series of payments. Your first thought's probably going to be disbelief. You've been fighting the VA for a year or so, more maybe if you're on appeal, and all of a sudden, 2,500 bucks, then 3,800 bucks, and then maybe another 3,800 bucks shows up in your bank account and you're in disbelief. You've been getting stalled by the VA. I mean, deep down, you know that you won, but you can't believe it because it's unbelievable. All of a sudden you just came up on 9 grand. So this is normal. This is the way it happens. It could be a lump sum or it could be multiple payments, and they do this for a variety of different reasons. There's different calculations every year. There's the cost of living increase, for example. So the rates change, and then they have to calculate, your old rates versus your new rates, and we're going back to back pay. So what you were getting paid a year or two ago, or what you should have been getting paid a year or two ago, is different than what it is now. So that's one of the main reasons they break it up into a series of different payments and different amounts. It's going to catch you off guard. You're used to the VA ignoring you, and now you have all this money with no context. The context will come in your decision letter, and you will probably get this back pay deposit before you even get your decision letter. So I know you'll be in disbelief, but you won your claim. This is your back pay. That's what you need to know. If you don't feel like spending it all in one place and you want to wait for your decision letter, that's cool, but it won't change anything. You won your claim. That's awesome. Hey, Combat Craig, I got all this money deposited in my account. Do you know what it's for? And I love these conversations with my boot camp members because we've won the claim. This guy figured out how to prove his claim with medical evidence, got his intent to file in, and he has an effective date, and it took a year or so, and he got a bunch of back pay. Went from 70% to 100%. Love these conversations. So speaking of intent to file and effective dates, let's move into what those are and what they mean. If you're thinking about filing a VA claim, you want to get your intent to file submitted now. Your intent to file preserves your effective date, and all awards for VA disability back pay go back to effective dates. So if you put your intent to file in now and you file your claim in 6 months from now, when you win your claim, you're going to get paid all the way back to the date of your intent to file, which is the effective date of your claim. You have 1 year from when you submit your intent to file your claim. If you're not ready, don't feel rushed by your intent to file. It's better to file your claim right, so you don't have to appeal it, than it is to worry about your intent to file. So what I do, I'm 100% permanent and total, but I don't really trust what the VA is doing. So I always have an intent to file open. So I open an intent to file. I usually do it in October, so I just did it again. And I always have an intent to file open, because if the VA ever gets squirrely and proposes a reduction, I want to be able to have some sort of backup plan in place. Intent to file for me is just part of it. I obviously have another claim on deck if I need to file it. That's a sleep apnea claim. I know how I'm going to file my sleep apnea claim. It'll be secondary. And I've been building medical evidence for the past couple of years. So I have medical evidence to prove my sleep apnea claim. Basically, all I'm going to need to do is get a nexus explaining the link between my sleep apnea and my service-connected disabilities, and I've got a plethora of those. I'm rambling a little bit here, and I go into strategy and playing defense a lot in my boot camp, so if you want to learn about that stuff, combatcraig.com. What is an effective date? An effective date is anytime you filed a claim or you submitted an intent to file prior to filing a claim, that's your effective date. You can challenge effective dates effectively if you keep your claim alive. So I filed a claim in 1991, and I didn't even know I filed a claim because I wasn't paying attention at all. So I do have a 1991 effective date, but since I didn't keep my claim alive through the appeals process, I lost that effective date. The only way I could go back and reopen that one is if I can prove that they made a decision on my claim and they just skipped over medical evidence. This isn't something that I'm planning on doing because I'm going to wait for 20 years before I'm actually protected under the 20-year rule, before I start looking in on some of these older effective dates. But generally speaking, if you have an old effective date from the 90s or 2000s or 5 years ago or 3 years ago, if you didn't keep your claim alive through the appeals process, then you lost your effective date. So you can go backwards and work on those if that's what you want to do. But I think it's a better idea to get a new intent to file in, work your new claim, get that thing dialed in, get up to where you want to get to as far as your compensation's concerned, and then you could start working on past effective dates and stuff like that. But long story short, if you didn't appeal it, you don't have an effective date that you're going to be able to challenge and win, and you're going to be hard-pressed to find a disability lawyer to do this for you. Let me jump in here real quick and tell you about my boot camp. If you want to learn more about the VA claims process, check out my boot camp. You can talk to me live. There's a link on the website and in the description, combatcraig.com. And also, if you need medical evidence like a nexus or documenting your symptoms properly, go to our website, combatcraig.com, and it says medteam/nexus letters. Click on that link, fill out the form, boom, you're done.